Okay, good morning to all. Myself Vinaranjan Patnaik. Today I am going to discuss about the chapter number 6, File Management System of Operating System. Before going to this chapter, let's focus about the following articles: file organization, directory and file structure, sharing of files, file access methods, file system, reliability, allocation of disk space, file protection, secondary storage management. So first come to the file system. So first before going to the different types of attributes, first let's know what is the file. A file is a collection of related information that is stored on secondary storage information, and its stored in files must be present, not affected by power failures and system reboots. Files may be of free from such as text files or may be formatted rigidly. Files represent both programs as well as the data. So file is nothing, it is the set of the collection of the records, and there are a number of the attributes in the file. First is your file attributes. A file has certain attributes which vary from one operating system to another. Then your name of the file. Every file has a name by which it is referred. Identifier, it is unique number that identifies a file within the file system. Next is your what are the type. If the information is needed for those systems that supports different types of files. That means types means which may be a header file, maybe a document file, maybe or maybe Excel, PowerPoint file, maybe exe file. Then the different type of that. The type means it focus certain characteristics of a file. That means which type of file, right? So location means it is a pointer to a device or to the location of the file on that device. Location means storage area. That means in which area or in which you can say in which space it will be created or which area it is created within the system. So that is the location. Next is your size. It is the current size. What is the size of a file in terms of bytes, in terms of words, in terms of blocks? How many the location? That means what is the space is occupied in a memory system. That is known as your size of that file. Next is your protection. It is the access control information that determines who can read or write executable file. Protection means it is access control. That means sometimes the file open, that means anybody can read and write. Sometimes the file will be secure, protected from the outer access. That means it can be only read. There is no write operation. There is no execute operation. So that is the protection regarding the security. Next is your time, date and user identification. It gives information about time of creation or last modification or last use. So that is known as the time, date and user identification. Next is your file operation. What are the operations will be done on the file? The operating system can provide system calls to create, read, write, reposition and delete and truncate the files. First is creating a file. Two steps are necessary to create a file. First, space must be found for the file in the file system. Secondly, an entry must be made in the directory for the new file. And for the new file. Next is your reading a file. data and read from the file at the current position. The system must keep a read pointer to know the location in the file from where the next read is to take place. Once the read has been taken place, the read pointer is updated. That is the reading a file. Next is your writing a file. Data retained to the file at the current position. The system must keep a write pointer to know the location in the file where the next write is to take place, and the write pointer must be updated whenever a write occurs. Next is your repositioning with a file. The directory is searched for the appropriate entry and the current file position is set to a given value. After repositioning, data can be read from or written into that position. And at last, deleting the file. To delete a file, we search the directory for the required file. After deletion, the space is released so that it can be reused by other files. Next is your truncating a file. The user may erase the contents of a file but allows all attributes to remain unchanged except the file length, which is reset to 0 and the space is released. That means, what is the difference between the deleting a file and truncating a file? Delete a file means entire file is be deleted from that directory and the space is released. But truncating a file means what? Now the user may erase the contents of a file but allow all the attributes to remain unchanged. You have to only the contents of the file. The entire file will not be deleted from the particular area. You can only the content of the file and it is set. The length of the set is 0. That means though the content there is no contents in the file, so that is the length of the file is set to 0 and the space is released. So these are the operations of the files. Creating, first you have to create the file in a particular location. Next is your reading a file, that means you have to read the data from the file at the current position, and the system must keep a read pointer to know the location. Next is your writing a file, data write returned to the file at the current position, and repositioning of the file means the directory search for the appropriate entry and the current file position is to a given value. Next is your, that means repositioning means what? Suppose one file is present in a directory C or D directory, then it will be shifted to another directory, and in that area maybe it is identified with the same name or with a different name. So that is the relocating. Repositioning means the relocating the file. Deleting, to delete a file, the entire file will be deleted from particular directory, and truncating a file, that means the contents of the files will be deleted and length of the is set to 0 and the space is released. So these are the file system and these are the attributes and this is the file operation. So for the today's class this much. The next we have to discuss about the different types of files. Thank you for all.